Hey guys, it's Beauty Queen and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys tips about moving countries. Last week's video was the last of the pre-filmed videos, I'm pretty sure. This was actually going to be pre-filmed. I had pre-filmed it, uploaded it, and then after actually moving, instead of just using the tips that I thought I was going to use, I thought I would refilm it and give you the actual tips that helped me. So yeah, I have all of them on the iPad, so let's get into the video. Moving to a new country can be so exciting but also nerve-wracking, and when you add in children to it, you can feel overwhelmed by literally anything. I know I was so scared about what was going to happen on the plane and all that sort of stuff, like the airport. And while I did mess up a little bit, it kind of worked in my favor in the long run. My biggest tip is don't do it alone, especially if you have 2 kids. We had my mum come with us to help move us and settle us and get everything we needed to start with. And honestly, that was a godsend because we had the pram, we had 2 car seats, we had the second seat for the pram, we had 5 of our own suitcases, and then my mum's 2 as well, and we needed that space. Biggest packing advice if you're moving countries and you were literally going for just what's in your suitcase, like a lot of people would be to start with, the vacuum sealed bags, godsend. But we still ended up stealing like one of my mum's suitcases, and we also had my diaper bag as a personal item and my mum's handbag as her personal item, and we had everything chocked full. So honestly, a second person is so helpful. My mum had to push the luggage trolleys. There was 2 of them with all our suitcases and everything. And then I had the girls in the double pram with the undercarriage of the pram stocked full when we were going through customs in Australia. I couldn't use that pram when we were like doing the New Zealand stuff, but because like the pram was checked in as an oversized baggage baby item. But seriously, my mum is a godsend for helping me. So my first bit of advice would be just talk about the move. Depending on your kid's age, you could explain more or less, but explain why you're moving and what to expect, so that they can kind of understand what's going to happen. We really talked about, with Victoria Rose, we really talked about why we're moving, all the exciting things we would do, and we explained in depth, because she doesn't like change, the steps that were going to happen on the day. I tried to do most of the packing when she wasn't like around, because we did have to be picky. Well, I had to be picky with what toys could come to Australia to start with. The rest of our stuff is packed in boxes, ready to come over when I can afford to get my stuff shipped from my mum's house to here on a shipping container through a boat and everything. So all her other toys are coming, other than the big D-stash of stuff we did. But we just had to be really picky, and it had to be like really favorite items. We had very little clothes come with us, all that sort of stuff, to try and make space. So I didn't want her to be like trying to add toys and everything. We did have some mishaps with behavior around the time we were moving, but all in all, I think she took it really well. Also, let them ask questions, let them try and understand it in their own way. I did fill out the registration forms for things like the doctors before I was even in the country to make it quicker. And then all I had to do was, when we got to Australia, was fill in like my new number and all that kind of stuff, like insurance, which is Medicare and things like that, so that they had those details. And then I just dropped it in. Even though we didn't need an appointment, I just dropped it in so we were enrolled for whenever we needed an appointment. A lot does go into a move, so make sure you remember to tie up loose ends and make sure you have the documentation you need and that's easy and handy to access. I took like a wee filing folder with me on the plane, which had the birth certificates, Plunkett books from New Zealand, just in case they needed it, our passports, and all that kind of stuff, just in case we needed it. Obviously we needed the passports, but like birth certificate and all that for like getting everything set up. And I even brought things I didn't know if I was going to need, just in case. And then obviously, yeah, tie up loose ends, cancel like your phone plan over in whatever country you're leaving, electricity, all that kind of stuff. If you have school-age kids, you might need to bring school records to give to the new school. I'm not really sure on how that one works, as I have a 3-year-old and now a 4-month-old, but she was 3 months old at the time of moving. Our doctor's records, they sent in a request, but I kind of wish I'd gotten them. I tried to get them myself, but they wouldn't let me, my old doctors. And I kind of wish I just pushed the issue harder, because now I'm having issues with getting our records at the new doctors that I have to follow up with. So now that the general information is done, that took way too long, the actual move is what I want to touch on last. So I personally am a worst case scenario planner. I planned for things like both girls screaming all the way through the airport and the plane ride, and thankfully that did not happen. I made sure I had my youngest, Sophia Grace's dummy, and plenty of nappies on hand for the flight, which we did need, because literally we got to the airport to leave in New Zealand and I look down and she has had a nappy blowout. I was not impressed. Thankfully she was wearing pants, and I could just tell because it was wet, and it hadn't gone everywhere, but it was an outfit change and clean nappy, which literally within minutes of arriving at the airport. Like, we checked our stuff in, we beelined to the bathroom so I could clean her up. So yeah, they do say, like on all the mum forms I read, you can hold baby and breastfeed or bottle feed. The flight attendant told me not to. She said for takeoff and landing, baby had to be facing straight. I don't know if that was just the airline that we took's policy or what, but I listened. And holding your dummy in when you can't see what they're doing because they're facing forward is a nightmare. But it worked. She fell asleep and she slept for a good portion of the flight time, but when she did wake up, she hated being stuck in the seat. I didn't bring my baby wrap on the plane. It was in my suitcase, checked, and I kind of wish I had, because then I could have walked up and down the aisles a bit easier, and instead I was stuck in a seat. I ended up turning on the in-flight entertainment and putting on Bluey and having her watch that, and that's not great for a 3-month-old, but it distracted her long enough that she wasn't screaming down the whole flight. Some other babies were on our flight, and they were screaming a lot more, but I still felt really bad because I thought she was going to sleep for most of it, and I didn't really think about that one. I was more concerned about my eldest. But my eldest actually surprised me. I brought her some lollipops for takeoff and landing. She didn't actually end up using them. She fell asleep right before takeoff, and she slept pretty much the whole flight. She woke up a couple of times. She didn't want to look outside the window. She was scared of how high up we were. So she did watch, I think it was Frozen on the entertainment for a little bit, and took some photos with me on the plane. But other than that, she kind of just wanted to sleep. which really surprised me, but I wasn't going to knock it. The actual airport stuff she didn't like. I did bring her noise cancelling headphones, and they went on pretty quickly because she was kind of getting annoyed with all the sounds. And we did have to carry her all the way through customs because she wanted to throw a tantrum and did not want to go through customs. But that was more so because she was getting freaked out by all the people. She doesn't like a lot of people and crowds, and an airport is loud and crowded. The two things she hates. Yeah, so once in Australia, the first part of customs was done quite easily. We had flight attendants who were literally our godsend. We were the last ones to board the plane, and we had a flight attendant help us carry our bags up into the plane because it was steps. And so I was carrying Sophia Grace, my mum was carrying Victoria Rose, and the flight attendant handled our carry-ons until we got into the plane, and then we just wheeled them up and put them up. And then we waited to be the last ones off, which actually worked in our favour because we were struggling with the bags. We were trying to work out which one goes where. I knew to put the two carry-ons together because they had 4 wheels, but we were trying to just juggle everything, and the flight attendants from the plane saw us, helped us so much. So the first part of customs was really easy. After that, we quickly went and got the heavy luggage, and the girls went in the pram, and the rest was a breeze. So yeah, my biggest advice, I just dropped the iPad. My biggest advice is to try and find ways to make it exciting for the kids, but know that they can still be scared no matter how much planning you have. And at the end of the day, with the adjustment, you won't regret it. Like, it is hard, it is stressful at the airport, especially if they start crying on the plane or whatever, and you're in a tight space, and especially with all the people like on social media now, they're like hating on parents taking planes. It's like, it's hard, it is stressful. I was getting overwhelmed, and the girls weren't even struggling as bad as I thought they were going to. But literally, you won't regret it. I did make sure that I did have toys and things for Victoria Rose, but then she slept, so she didn't use them. But I tried to make sure she had a lot of stuff. And also when we boarded the plane with the airline we took, they have little kid bags with a bunch of stuff for kids, and so she got handed one of those, but in the end she didn't use it, but she loves it here, so oh well. So yes, if you have to make an overseas move with kids, let me know in the comments down below what you wish you knew, or something that helped you on the plane which could help other parents who are planning to do the same thing, because you're not alone. Parents move countries all the time for whatever reason, and it can be stressful, and I struggle to find information. Like, I know I moved to New Zealand when I was a kid myself from Australia. I was like 7 at the time, and so I grew up in New Zealand, but I don't really remember the trip over. I remember all our stuff getting flooded like days before we moved, and it being a big rush to repack, and then things getting lost on the other end and all that, but I don't remember the airport or anything. And so for me, that was what I was looking for information on, and I couldn't find a lot. So I hope this video is helpful. If you haven't seen the video from 2 weeks ago, it was actually the vlog of me moving. I didn't film a lot, but it's a vlog of me moving countries. And next week is me unboxing my internet because I got Starlink. So I hope I'll see you guys again next week or very soon, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys!